Grow, Sell, and Retire is a podcast for aspirational entrepreneurs and inspirational business owners who want to work less, earn more, and even more importantly, have an awesome time while doing it. Your host, B.D. Dalton, author of True Gravity, is here to give you the systems, processes, and actions for you to create the wealth that you've always dreamt about. Get your pencil, paper, and brain ready for secrets and top tips from his 25 years of experience in helping people build wealth. Here's your host, B.D. Dalton.
Hello, everybody. B.D. Dalton here on Grow, Sell, and Retire. And today we're going to talk a bit again about growth. And I've been doing a lot of coaching lately and looking at it and came up with an idea. Somebody called it entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is, well, actually, when we step back and we look at it, we all want to start our own business or we want to get bigger and better. What do we do it for? We want to have freedom. We don't want to listen to the man and be trapped in the work by the boss. We have earning potential. We want to really go out and make as much as we possibly can. Having our name over the door, Bart Dalton, or whatever you've wanted to start your business to be, you really have that image. But what really happens on the trip to being an entrepreneur, which is that aren't, is we get trapped in our business. We feel bad. We're broke. We've failed. And that's a title. We go from being the title of boss and entrepreneur to the title of failed. Failed isn't bad because failed gives us the opportunity to bounce back, figure out what we did wrong and move forward. But today, on this growth segment, I really want to talk about the 3 things that you need to make sure that you're an entrepreneur and not an entrepreneur. So when we start to go for that freedom and we want to have that earning potential and that image and everything else, we want to make sure that we've got the right tools in place. And I love 3s. So here's the 3s that we're going to talk about today. The first one is goals. So you're going to want to have financial goals. You're going to want to have numbers of people goals, as in clients, employees, spread. Do you want to be local? Do you want to be global? How do you want to make sure that your business and what you're doing and what you love and your passion is distributed around the world? So, or just around your local community. So you want to make sure that you have those goals. They need to be financial. They need to be measurable and realistic. Those financial, measurable, and realistic. So financial just means that you need to be able to pay for the things you want to pay for. And some people say, I want to make this franchise national and I want to make it global and I want to do this, this, and this. The reality is that the work that you want to put into it and the effort that you want to put in there to take away from the other things you want to do when it comes to freedom, you don't really want to have that. You want to have a certain lifestyle that's paid for and taken care of. So I'm not saying don't go out and have huge dreams. What I'm saying is have dreams that are realistic to what you want to do for the level of work that you want to put in. And guess what? It's going to be different for everybody. So those goals need to make sure that they apply to you and you understand what you're trying to do and what you're willing to put in for it. Simon Sinek talks a lot about your why. And when you have that why and you know where you're going, then you will step forward and do whatever it takes. They had a little experiment that he talks about where they asked the person, they said, so if there was a skyscraper and another skyscraper in the air and there was a board going between them, thousands of feet in the air, would you cross that plank? And they said, no, I wouldn't do that. But then they said, well, what happens if your child was on the other side and they were ready to fall? You'd run across that plank as fast as you could, eyes closed, whatever you had to do to get across there. So the why, when you know what that is, then you go for it. So those goals, because it's not just a monetary goal, it's based around all the stuff that you want to do and the opportunities and fun that you want to have, then you're going to do it. You're going to put your efforts into it. The second thing is you want to have time frames. And these are hurdles, these are steps, whatever you want to call them. These are stages is what I like to put them in. Stages where you want to get to, and you'll give yourself a little bit of leeway, but that's where we take the next step, whether we decide whether we continue on this entrepreneur run or we say, you know what, this has failed. And And there's nothing wrong with failure. That's the big thing. And I found this more over here in the UK than I have in the States, is failure is actually just a learning step. It's a way to move forward. So you haven't failed. You've only not done well at this item or this thing or this business. Now let's move forward. Because so many people, when they become entrepreneurs, they're trapped. They're getting paid less than they would if they just had somebody else taking the risk and they were an employee. So they're trading in their freedom of when they have to go in and out of work for the freedom of, or actually the entrapment of being stressed, trapped behind financials that don't make sense. So you really need to work on these time frames, and the time frame should have hurdles or marks that say we need to be earning this much or have this many clients and have this much profitability by this time frame. And when you get to that time, then you can readjust. You can look at it and say, was I right about how I put that in place? Was that too much? Because some of us, when we start off, we think that we're going to be billionaires the day we start off, which is amazing because that's what we get into business for. But it doesn't always make sure that we feel good about ourselves. The entrepreneurs, a lot of times, just dread Sundays. And Sundays are those days when you know that, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go back in for the Monday and I've got to be all planned. Get ready for the employees. Get ready for the customers. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but here it is, because we go in and we firefight so much. We're so reactive in the business. Then we start to move on to that proactive part of our world, which means, you know what, I've got this kind of under control, hopefully, because I've looked at my time frames. So your time frames also need to have amount of time. You're going to want to have your profitability in there, or your lifestyle, if you plan to do this, and you have to have longer time frames. But the short time frames have to be measurable in number of clients that will be that first stepping stone, or the number of profits or sales that will be that next stepping stone, so that you can actually start to feel successful. And I really do think you need to set those at 6 months, a year, 18 months, and 2 years. You really need to make sure that you've got your finances, your life, everything else ready to go, or else you're going to have a very, very difficult time. For some people believe that it's an amazing thing to have the challenge and the scarcity because it makes them fight for abundance. It makes them fight to go out there and take over and make money to make sure that they're a success. So you've got goals, you've got time frames, and here's the big one. I wouldn't be Mr. True Gravity if I wasn't talking about friends. And what you do with your friends can give you 3 things. First thing they'll give you is they'll give you help, because hopefully they're going to either give you referrals, introduce you to their clients, take you to places that you need to be, find new people to give you product, whatever it is. They're going to be the ones that make sure that you're still okay. The second thing they're going to give you is they're going to give you energy. And they're going to, if you've got the right friends, which I'm sure you will, if you've read the book True Gravity, you'll be able to measure them out. You'll find the people that are going to make sure that you can get to the level that you want to get to. These friends are going to say, you know what, BD, Jane, Steve, I'm going to help you. We're going to get there. We're going to make sure that we get there in the right manner. We're going to make sure we get there moving forward. So let me help you, because I know that if I help you, it's always making me feel good, and it'll move us both forward. The last thing, and this is where you get to share your goals and your time frames with your friends, they need to be your conscience. I talk about gurus, guides, and gladiators as the people in your business or the people in your coaching circle. The gurus say, trust me, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, listen to me, don't waste your time, this is the answer. The other ones are the guides. The guides say, let's go there together. Let's find some sort of goal or something together to make sure that we can get there. The last one is the gladiator. And this is where your friends step in and they can be your conscience. The gladiator, if you give the gladiator a goal or a time frame or something to tell you that you have to stick to, your friend, the gladiator, will say, you know what, BD? You didn't make that goal in that time frame. What are you going to do about it? You can't keep doing this to yourself. You can't keep beating yourself up. You can't do this. Let's cut the cord and move on. This is the difference between an entrepreneur who's successful and an entrepreneur who's trapped in their business. So they've got goals, they've got time frames, and they've got friends. And these friends, they've given them the power to make sure that they can help them. You need to give your friends, some friends, the power to be your guru, guide, and gladiator. You need to instill in them that it's okay to kick my tail every once in a while when I'm getting out of line. We need to make sure that we're doing this for them as much as they're doing it for us. So when you started your journey to become an entrepreneur, sometimes we become entrepreneurs. I've met so many people that own their own business, think it's great, but are earning less than what they would do if they were an employee somewhere else. And I said, so what do you like about having your job? Well, I like the freedom. Well, when was the last time you went on a holiday? 3 years ago. That's not freedom. Please stop doing that to yourselves. It's okay. I'm not saying, please stop doing your business. What I'm actually saying is let's make sure that we've got a system in our brains that says, I'm okay with this and I'm going to move forward as soon as this happens. Then guess what? Those goals, those time frames, and especially those friends, those people in your universe, hopefully, if you've read the book or you haven't, Primary Planets, those people that are your best friends, your 3 best friends have been given the okay to tell you, you know what? You're being silly. Because at the exact same time when things are going so well, they're going to go, you know what, BD? You're amazing. Let's make this all happen. Let's move it forward. So guess what? I got some things coming up on Grow, Sell, and Retire that I'm so excited about. In September, starting from September, I have 6 people, different interviews that I'm going to have for people that I've read their books, been through their programs, and learned so much from them. I've got the guy that actually gave me I bought my first book about cold calling and selling. We're going to have Stephen Shipman on the show. We've got the guy that actually changed my wealth management business. He's going to be on the show, Steve Moore, who is an NFL coach, amazing person, worked with Microsoft. But we're going to have a lot of interviews coming up, which I'm going to make sure that they still fit into our theme of grow, sell, and retire. Got some people that have written books about retirement, making sure that you've got the right money and making sure that you've got the right attitude and mentality behind it. But guess what? I've had lots of people asking me about how to make sure that they can learn a little bit more, but they're very busy. They don't have time to sit in a one-on-one coaching class. They don't have the time or the energy to be able to take it out of their business currently, but they want to get to that spot. So I've created Space Camp. So Space Camp is an online course that every month you're going to get a new topic. 12 topics throughout the year. And it doesn't matter when you join, but you're going to get the topics, 6 of them around the entrepreneur or intrapreneur. So if you're a salesperson or in a business, it's okay. You can use this too. The second one is about building enterprise value. So it's making sure that you've got the right tools in place to make things happen. So 6 months on the entrepreneur and 6 months on the enterprise. And guess what? Doesn't matter when you jump in, you're going to get emails, you're going to get tools, you're going to get engagement from the team, webinars so that you can have a mastermind with your people every month. You're going to get 10 people in a mastermind so we can have a conversation about how to make sure that you can apply the principles that we're talking about your brand, about your career, the people, the teams, the systems. All this type of stuff is getting ready to happen. So grow, sell, and retire is that next step on from True Gravity where you've just built up your network. This is going to take you to that level where you can be ready to sell your business. So this is BD Dalton on Grow, Sell, and Retire, making sure that you focus on being an entrepreneur and not an entrepreneur. So have some fun. Make sure you like this. Go to www.bartdaltonconsulting.com and make sure you like us, follow us on Facebook, do all that fun stuff. Looking forward to working with you again. Go out so you can grow, sell, and retire. I'm BD Dalton. Looking forward to hearing you again and talking to you again.
Thanks for joining us on Grow, Sell, and Retire. For more information, tools, or to book one of our team members to work with your team, business, or to speak at your event or conference, visit bartdaltonconsulting.com or email contact@bartdaltonconsulting.com. Buy the book True Gravity on Amazon. If you want to work for the rest of your life, that is your business. If you don't, that is ours.